powerful, amazing, delicious, and by the way, brilliant coach. Now, I wanted to share with you an insight that I had gotten about your wisdom and brilliance, and how you can uncover and achieve. I'm sorry, just kicking things now suddenly. That's how excited I am. So I'm here, and one of the things is people certainly coaches come to me and they go, Ben, where do you get all your topics? Where do you get? I mean, depending on where this falls in, there's probably 60 to 100 of these videos already, not counting all the many more that I've got lined up ready to go. And I've got hundreds of blog posts to be written, not to mention the ones I've already done, or newsletter pieces, tons of topics to throw in on my groups. Where do you get all that? Well, obviously, it all comes from certainly with working with people just like you. And there's more. And I want to actually go into really, I want to go into some hard stuff with you. But let's assume and hope that it's not currently hard, because I want you to take a look at your past. Now, look at the past and look at those challenging, hard moments. For me, there was certainly, I mean, I can right off the top of my head, when I started coaching, I was building a career that I'd been working on for 10, 15 years, something like that, building my career as an actor, doing commercials, doing products, doing training videos, doing shows, and I was doing it all. And I was doing pretty well. I was doing well enough to sustain and keep things going. And then this coaching thing comes along, and it's hard and it's exciting, but I have to learn how to do business, and I'm struggling, and I'm not making a lot of money because as an actor, it kind of goes up and down, and I wasn't making a lot of money on that, especially to sustain paying for all the training and a coach and all of this, and I got to buy a website, and I got to pay for all these services and all these things and memberships and all that stuff. And there was some really scary times. And I can look back at other points of my past where I was feeling just frustrated before I discovered coaching. And I was feeling just so wandering. I had this dream of being an actor, and I wasn't really, this is previous years where I was, I wasn't really doing the work, but I was kind of there, and I was kind of working, and I was kind of doing this, but it was really painful and frustrating, and I didn't know where I was going. I felt lost. Now, those are just two that came up for me. I've had other ones where I, lost my apartment and I had to move out, and I couldn't afford to stay where I wanted to. And so I had to get this crummy little one-room studio thing. I had to do jobs that were frustrating and embarrassing. There were worse, obviously. I mean, we could go down that path. Well, I mean, it could have been worse. Sure, of course it could have been. And thank goodness it wasn't. But just to look at the pain. I came from divorced parents when I was very little. And it was painful at the time. It was frustrating, and I was angry and scared, and all of that. And tons of different experiences where, boy, I'll tell you, I would not want to go through that again. I didn't enjoy it. I transferred to a new school and felt alone. All my friends were gone, and my comfort was gone, and I was suddenly in a regiment of structure that was freaking me out. All those things. We all have those, and I know you have yours too. The nice thing, again, this is making hopefully some safe assumptions that we're not currently feeling the burden and the pain of those moments. That we're not feeling the pain of those moments. It can be a little painful to think back, choices that I made, things that happened to me, and I can look back and go, ooh, that still makes me wince. And hopefully, when I'm pointing you to look at these things, to not look at the ones where you're currently in pain, because you might still be, and that's okay. But to look at the ones where you're not anymore. Now, if you need to write down and go back to it later, that's totally fine. But I want you also then to really recognize, first off, A, you got through it. I know that is absolutely true. Absolutely true. You got through it. How do I know it's true? Because you're right here watching this. So you got through it somehow, whether by sheer luck or by pulling something in you or by somebody coming along at the right moment or something, or just holding on until it went away, whatever it was that got you through that pain point, that painful moment in your past. So first off, to really recognize you got through this. You are strong. You are powerful. That was a trial. That was a challenge. That you had to go through for some reason, whatever the reason is. But you went through it. You're here now. You're stronger because of that. And that's where I want to point you to, is to look at, how did you get through that? Because you did. How did you get stronger? What did you learn or have to do in order to get past it? Or if you just held on until it went away, that still requires a lot of energy and a lot of commitment and a lot of inner power and resource, just holding on. How did you do that? When somebody came along and reached out and offered you help, you had to receive it. How did you find that person, or how did they find you? What had you get past it? And what do you now know from that trial, from that discovery? Now, what I may be sharing may not be necessarily new. I'm not inventing this, but I'm just pointing this to you because I had a conversation very similar with a client. And we were walking through, just kind of talking about her painful moments. And that's the first thing to recognize. When you're in it, that's not the time to be looking at the lessons learned and the cool, wonderful things that happen. Look at what's going to happen because of the pain you're currently in. No, that's not what I'm saying. And so I also do not recommend that you, when your clients are in pain, to try to throw that silver lining on them. Oh, well, you're in miserable pain and you're panicking and freaking out, but wow, just think about how much stronger you're going to be later on. No, not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is afterwards, after the pressure is gone, after the pain has subsided, after. And now you're able to recognize that you're in a better place, a more powerful place, that you are stronger, you are wiser, you are all these things. And then to look back, being removed, you're not in it now. And you can look at this pain, these hard times, these challenges, more grounded, more focused, more clear. And then you're able to really accept, this is what happened. It's not about blame. It's not about anything. It's just, yeah, this happened. And it was horrible, and it was messy, and it was ugly. I wish it was different. I wish I had acted differently. I wish somebody else had acted differently. Understandable, all of that. But that's going back and trying to rework the past and make it different, which is impossible. But if we can accept it and recognize it, okay, this is what happened. And what did I learn from this? What we're doing is we're actually grabbing onto the wisdom of the past pain. That was the phrase that popped up in my head. I was talking with my client. I go, my goodness, I can see you just standing in so much wisdom from your past pain. That your pain, as hard as it was, has given you this brilliant wisdom. Oh my goodness. And now we can use this in so many ways. I'm just going to throw out a couple of it. When you're doing your own training, I mean, I bring my wisdom from my past pain, I bring it into my class all the time because it's a real example. This is what I went through. This is what I learned. This is what I discovered from this. It works. This is what works. By the way, if we're doing webinars, seminars, presentations, this is your story. This is the I'm just like you. I had my version of pain. I was lost. I was confused. I was running around in circles. I started this coaching thing and had no idea what I was doing. I was just like you. And if I wasn't like you in that way, you know what? I was new to school. I moved in this new city. I was trying to figure this out. You know, we all have our past pains that somebody else can identify with. And everybody else has past pains that we can identify with. I get you. I get you. So when we're presenting our workshops and webinars, we can bring in those real moments because people really like being with real people. It can also be part of our marketing. Yeah, there's an aberration of it. I was just like you. I was this and that, and I struggled and suffered, and I was at my wit's end, and blah, blah, blah. And then I discovered the magic secret. Okay, that's a little bit distorted, but it's still the same principle. That's why those late night infomercials do that. It's because they're trying really hard to convey the simple message, I get you. And here's why I get you. Because our lives, we're all going through the same things. It's a little bit different here and there. Everybody's experience is different, but it all comes down to the same thing. Oh, you feel lost and confused, or you did at one point in your life? Hey, here's my version. You feel alone and scared? Yeah, I know how that feels. Me too. Oh, you've stepped into something new and you're overwhelmed and have no idea where it's going or how it's going to work possibly? Yeah, me too. You get to bring this into your coaching. You get to bring you. You're not making the coaching about you. You're finding that way of connecting more intimately with your client. So now, when you got a client that comes to you and says, I've got to get $5 million of investments to build my business, and I don't know how to do that. You didn't go through the same thing yourself, I'm guessing, but I know you know what it feels like to need to get money or to get something in order to find that next level of success. Whether it was $100 or $1 million. When you have a client who's scared because they've lost their job that they've had for 40 years, and maybe you didn't have a job for 40 years, but you've lost something, or you know what it feels like to be out of place, to have that comfort place, that home or that relationship or that job or that whatever gone. And now what do I do? You get to look to your past pain and find your wisdom. And now that unlocks a deeper you, one that you can share with anybody. And it helps pull them into creating a deeper relationship. I mean, really, everything that I'm sharing here, if that's pulling you in, reach out. Reach out to me. It's not a marketing thing and, oh, but if you like this, then buy my program. No. If I've said something that's touched and moved and inspired and caught you in some way, reach out to me. I'd love to connect with you and share more. And certainly, if I can help you with the class that I teach, the story, the training that I offer, coaching, mentoring, guiding, obviously, I'm happy to help you because I've been where you are. Even if you've been doing this for 20 years, I've been where you are. You may be making more money. You may be making less money. You may have more clients than you possibly could imagine. You may have barely any. You may have all the training you could swallow. You may be feeling like you know nothing. I've been there and I have so many proof in my past. And I'd love to connect with you and then see where that goes. So I hope this has helped. And I hope this has inspired and opened up to you in some ways. And bring this to your clients. Bring this to them. The past is not something to be scared of. Now, I do respect there have been some of us have had really horrible, painful moments. We know those are. And those are typically requiring maybe therapy or counseling or specialized help. And I'm not talking about those. Albeit, I've talked with people who have had devastating, horrible past events and have found their power from it. So that has happened. But that's not what I'm telling you to go to because the intensity of those past moments may still be raw and painful. Look to those moments where the pain isn't still grabbing on. It's often further into the past. It's less attachment to them, less of a hold. And enjoy it. It's painful, but you're not in it anymore. You're here. You're here. And you're amazing. And you're powerful. And you're brilliant. And you have a lifetime of wisdom that you get to bring into the world. All right. I will talk with you later. I wish you a beautiful and wise, until we talk next, wonderful, wise, and happy future.